So, this is going to be a very different kind of video in regards to pitting these two players against each other. We could do the entire introspective analysis on forechecking, on skating, on stride length, on shots, on shooting, on goal scoring, on defense, on checking, physicality, leadership, and all that stuff. We could talk about the individual parts of their games, but I feel like for a conversation like this, when talking about two players who are like this, trying to break down the individual parts kind of takes away from the bigger picture, and that's sort of what I wanted to do in this video instead. Just kind of go over a holistic view of both of these guys, talk about the money, because that's very much a part of this conversation too, and just bring up the years that both of these guys are having. Because when it comes to these two names, Conor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers and Nathan MacKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche, you could very well debate that on a list of the best players in the NHL this year, these guys should be 1 and 2. And ultimately what that conclusion boils down to is the points. Conor McDavid, if we start off with him, is the best hockey player in the world. He is. I'm going to say from a pure talent perspective, in terms of what he is capable of doing that other players are not, Conor McDavid is the most talented player, and the points go out there and pretty much show that off in the most obvious way possible. In 72 games played, McDavid has 60 goals and 78 assists for 138 points. Should he continue on this point production pace, he will be the only player in NHL history to get 157 points who is not named Mario or Wayne. That's how crazy the season he is having is. The point record for players in the NHL who scored in a single season who is not named Mario or Wayne is 155, scored by Yzerman in 88-89. McDavid, knock on wood, is currently on pace to breaking that. And it's kind of like McDavid had a mission this year. He said, okay, I kind of want to shut up all the haters, you know? Everybody was talking about Austin Matthews getting 60 goals in 73 games last year. Well, Conor McDavid did the same thing, and in fact, he one-upped Matthews, 60 goals, 72 games played. Plus, you have McDavid being 1 assist away from a career high in assists. Last year, he had 79 assists in 80 games. This year, he's got 78 assists in 72. So he is over an assist a game. Last year, he was just barely under, and he's number 1 in the NHL in goals, too. I mean, there's really no putting it in other words. McDavid is a phenomenal generational player, and the way he plays the game goes out there and tells you why. Just the speed, just the poise, just the decision-making, and now, as we're seeing this season, the shot. It's all there for Conor McDavid. Even at the All-Star event, he said himself he feels like he gets typecasted into that fastest skater type of role, but he wanted to show off that he's got other skills, so he participated in the accuracy shooting. He was near flawless there. It looked like it was so easy for him to just go 4 for 4 every time he went. And so with this season being what it is, you've got like 12 guys on pace for 100 points or whatever. Conor McDavid is the king of them all. He is going to win the Art Ross. He is likely going to win every trophy there is to win this season, because the last time we have had somebody score this amount of points, it's been decades, especially from players not named Wayne or Mario. But as we had said, NHL scoring this season is pretty high, and if you go over to the total NHL numbers, there are 2 other guys who have 100-plus points on the year, Nikita Kucherov and Leon Draisaitl. You have a whole bunch of guys that are right under there, like Mateychuk, who's got 97, David Pastrnak has 95, and the one that we're going to talk about in this video, aside from Conor, is that Nathan MacKinnon. MacKinnon this season had a whole bunch of setbacks. He was not healthy for all of the year. He missed a few games, and so far, I mean, he's got 93 points in only 60 games played. 31 goals, 62 assists for the mark that he is at. And that in itself is kind of nuts, because MacKinnon is on pace to only playing 71 games, but guess what? He's 7 points away from 100. In fact, he's on pace for 110 points, which would be good because he hasn't actually had a 100-point season yet, but he's gotten awfully close multiple times. It's just, the guy hasn't played an 82-game year in, 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons now, so it's been a while since MacKinnon has been healthy enough to really get that mark, but again, knock on wood, anything happens, the guy has 11 more games to get 7 points and hopefully break that. But I also wanted to talk about money, and that's pretty much the main reason I'm making this video. Because next season, Conor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon will be the two highest paid players in the NHL in terms of AAV. Nathan MacKinnon is signed to a contract that starts next season that'll see him making $12.6 million a season. McDavid's making $12.5. He's been making this amount of money since 2018. So, part of me is kind of thinking, alright, if you look at the NHL in terms of points per game, you'll see that McDavid and Draisaitl are number 1 and number 2, okay, they're there, and then Nathan MacKinnon is third. It actually wasn't like this for most of the year. MacKinnon was always near the top, if not second overall. Draisaitl just recently took him over. But with these two guys, McDavid and MacKinnon, making the most amount of money, I wanted to ask the question, how do you feel about that dollar amount? Because when Colorado signed Nathan MacKinnon to that contract extension, a lot of Colorado Avalanche fans said, hey, that's a steal. If McDavid is 12.5 and MacKinnon is 12.6, then that's good. I can live with that. Then you had Oilers fans on the other side saying, hey, MacKinnon just signed a contract. That means that McDavid is now a steal, because if MacKinnon is making 12.6 and McDavid is making less, then hey, that is automatically a huge win for us. This is always what I say when it comes to transactions in the NHL or trades. If you can find a way to make both teams' fan bases either happy or pissed off, you probably have a good situation on your hands. And when it comes to the talent pool and the talent level of guys that are near the top of the NHL in money, for Nathan MacKinnon, you could definitely say that an argument exists for him to be that top-paid guy. Not because he outproduces McDavid. McDavid is going to win multiple Art Ross trophies from now until the end of his career, and everybody knows it. MacKinnon, honestly, I'm not too sure if he's even got the longevity to win one. He really just needs to stay healthy, and that's not really been the easiest thing for him throughout his career, but it's okay, because he's still a very talented hockey player. The thing that separates this conversation for most fans, though, is playoff pedigree, leadership, and work ethic. Because when it comes to all three of these categories, I think the majority body of NHL fans that are not Oilers or Avalanche fans would think that MacKinnon has McDavid beat in each of these categories. Playoff pedigree, of course, I mean, they won the Stanley Cup last year, so good on Colorado. But work ethic, defensive responsibility, physicality, these things are all sort of defined by MacKinnon as traits that he has over Connor. Again, I don't want to make it seem like a big conversation of traits versus traits, shots versus shots or whatever, but these are the things that allow fans to justify spending more money on MacKinnon. Because he's a workhorse on his own end, he plays physical, he's not afraid to bump guys off the puck, and for some reason, when I see Connor McDavid galloping down the ice, splitting the D and scoring a beautiful highlight through the legs goal, he always just looks so effortless when he does that. Now that's a really good talent that he has, but for Nathan MacKinnon, he doesn't need to have those nice nifty little dangles and the through the legs plays to make things work. Nathan MacKinnon is a bulldog, and when he has the puck, he will go right through you. He'll go through you like a bull in a china shop just trying to get the puck to the goal. He has such a strong and intense work ethic that bleeds into everything else that his team does when he's on the ice. And you could say, oh, it's a product of the team. MacKinnon is playing on a much better team than McDavid is, and McDavid only really has one guy to pass it to. But I think that would be selling the Oilers short a little bit because, I mean, look, Nugent-Hopkins has had a good season, Hyman's had a good season, Evander Kane is back, and he's doing really well, and then of course you have Draisaitl. It's not like McDavid doesn't have too bad of a supporting cast around him, it's just the depth really allows Colorado to go further into postseason action and take over games like they did in that 4-game series last year against the Oilers. So, at the end of the day, when it comes to the monetary value of each of these guys, when it comes to the importance of what they bring on the ice, sure, Connor McDavid is the best point producer the NHL has seen in decades, but Nathan MacKinnon is a gamer, and he will go out there and fight tooth and nail to make sure that his team comes out on top, while also producing points like no other despite the injuries and the health concerns. He is third in points per game, and he's going to probably, again, knock on wood, probably going to get 100 points, assuming everything goes right and he keeps up his current point production. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this McDavid versus McKinnon thing, how things are looking like today with about 10 games left to go in the regular season. Conor McDavid's got a whole bunch of points, so does McKinnon, but McKinnon has that playoff pedigree, and you have yourselves a Stanley Cup Playoffs matchup that may be coming later this year that might see them go up against each other once again. Who really knows? That'd be a fun rematch, not gonna lie, but either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. McKinnon versus McDavid. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 9. And bye.